Well, hello there, dear viewers. Welcome to a delightful journey back in time as we venture into the wondrous world of the 1904 Summer Olympics in St. Louis, Missouri. Today, we shall regale you with the tale of the most peculiar Olympic marathon in history, a race filled with chaos and unexpected twists. So gather round as we lace up our historical running shoes and prepare for a marathon of mirth and mayhem. Brace yourselves for a spectacle like no other, where the scorching sun, dusty roads, and an assorted cast of characters collide in a race to remember. Picture this. It's a scorching summer day in 1904, and a mere 32 athletes from various corners of the world gather to participate in the Olympic marathon. Oh, how quaint! Little did they know what awaited them on the dusty roads of Missouri. Now, we must mention that the organizers of this marathon weren't exactly the pinnacle of efficiency. Water stations. Why bother? Our brave athletes had to endure the scorching sun without a sip of water to quench their thirst. Fred Lorz, an American runner who took eccentricity to new heights. At the 9-mile mark, feeling as though he had seen enough of this spectacle, he decided to drop out of the race. But wait, the laughter doesn't end there. Fred had a cunning plan up his sleeve, or rather down his shorts. In a moment of sheer genius, or lunacy, Fred hitched a ride in a passing car, making his grand entrance at the finish line. You can imagine the organizers' surprise when they saw Fred strutting about like a peacock, soaking up the applause, meant for the real athletes. Bravo, Fred, bravo! Now, let's focus on the actual winner, Thomas Hicks, an American athlete with some rather unconventional helpers. Back then, they believed in the power of strychnine, not for exterminating pests, but to stimulate athletic performance. Yes, you heard that right. Thomas was treated to generous doses of this magical substance, along with egg whites and brandy. Talk about a recipe for disaster. Or success! Meanwhile, as the marathon was full of surprises, Fred Lorz's brother, John, decided to join the fun as a spectator turned runner. A regular Zelig, if you will. In a stunning display of enthusiasm, John dashed his way to the 4th place finish. Bravo to John as well, but alas, rules are rules, and he couldn't lay claim to Olympic glory without an official invitation. Of course, we mustn't forget about Len Tao, a South African runner with a spirit of tenacity. Among the competitors, he was one of the first black athletes to grace the Olympics with his presence. Despite the challenging course and scorching heat, he persevered and finished with an impressive 9th place. And let's not overlook Felix Carbajal, the Cuban postman with a flair for the dramatic. When it comes to his attire during the 1904 Olympic marathon, it was quite the unconventional sight to behold. Felix, in true postman fashion, decided to run the marathon wearing his everyday attire, a long-sleeved white shirt and trousers. Imagine him dashing along the course in his postal uniform, looking like he could be delivering mail while running a marathon. Now, one might wonder how practical this choice was, considering the challenging conditions of the race. Running in everyday clothes, especially in the scorching heat, was undoubtedly a daring decision. However, it only added to Felix's comical approach to the marathon, not to mention his delightful detours along the way, chatting with spectators, munching on apples, and even taking a nap on the side of the road, all while donning his trusty postman outfit. Felix was indeed a character to remember, and his unconventional attire was just one of the many peculiar elements that made the 1904 Olympic marathon so unforgettable. As the dust settled on the roads of St. Louis, the marathon neared its climax. Thomas Hicks, with his body pushed to the brink by the grueling race and the stimulants, began to falter. Every step became an ordeal, and his trainers watched with concern. Seeing their star athlete in distress, Hicks' trainers decided to intervene. With a mix of determination and desperation, they lifted him off the ground, one on each side, carrying him along the last stretch of the marathon. Like gallant knights escorting their champion, they trudged forward, supporting Hicks to the finish line. Their efforts weren't in vain. Thomas Hicks crossed the finish line with the help of his trainers, the crowd's applause ringing in his ears. He had claimed the gold medal, but it was a victory that came at a cost. A cost not just to him, but also to the spirit of fair competition. The other runners, too, found their place in history. Albert Corey in second place and Arthur Newton in third, all deserving a round of applause for their endurance and spirit. Amidst the hilarity and quirkiness of the 1904 Olympic Marathon, we must not forget to mention the barefoot runners who added an extra dash of peculiarity to this already extraordinary event. During the marathon, there were a few runners who opted to race without footwear, braving the rough and dusty roads with their bare soles. While running barefoot might seem like an eccentric choice today, it wasn't entirely uncommon in the early 20th century, especially among athletes from certain regions. These barefoot runners demonstrated both resilience and perhaps a touch of unconventional spirit. Imagine the sight of their feet pounding against the scorching ground, free from the confines of modern sports shoes. Their determination and unique approach to the race certainly left an impression on the spectators and fellow athletes alike. So, amidst the chaotic scenes of car rides, stimulant solutions and detours for apples, let's give a round of applause to those brave souls who embraced the tradition of barefoot running. The 1904 Olympic Marathon may have been an oddity of its time, but it left a lasting legacy. Its stories have been retold, its peculiarities analyzed, and its lessons learned. It became a testament to the evolution of sportsmanship, nutrition, and organization in the Olympic Games. And so, ladies and gentlemen, the 1904 Olympic Marathon was a glorious concoction of chaos, quirkiness, and questionable decisions. It was a marathon of marvelous mishaps. As we bid adieu to this peculiar chapter in Olympic history, let us remember the valuable lessons it taught us. Hydration stations are crucial, and stimulants belong in the medicine cabinet, not on the marathon course. But most importantly, we learn that sometimes, even in the pursuit of greatness, a bit of humor and humility can go a long way. Before we part ways, my dear audience, don't forget to hit that like button if you found this historical jaunt amusing. And of course, do subscribe to Quirky Chronicles for more eccentric tales from the annals of history. Until next time, stay quirky. Cheerio!